Are We Chill podcast. We got a special guest today. Not only with the brothers today, we got Corey on, we got Dusty Gets on producing the episode, but more importantly, we have Chase DeLeo on as well. Am I pronouncing it correctly, Chase?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Chase, welcome to the Are We Chill podcast, my friend.
Thank you, boys. Thanks for having me.
So we know you're busy. You know, you got training camp starting here soon. I believe tomorrow, right?
Starting on Wednesday. I got to Jersey last week. Try to get used to the Eastern time change, which is 3 hours, obviously a little different from Cali, but get my feet wet a little bit, get on the ice with the guys, meet all the new staff. It's kind of like going to a new school, so I wanted to get in a little bit early and get situated.
What's that preparation like, getting into training camp and getting the body and the mind ready to go? What's that like for you?
Yeah, it's been different because I've been fortunate enough to be at home the past 3 years. Kind of getting a routine, leaving home. I left home when I was 15 years old, go to Portland, come home back to California for the summer, stay with my parents, see all my buddies, and then leave again, come end of summer, pack my bags, get on a flight, one-way ticket, and that's it. And then obviously I was in Winnipeg, so still doing the same thing, come home for the summers, leave, and then was pretty fortunate the past 3 years to not have to pack my bags and not have to go on a flight anywhere, and be around my friends and family. It pretty much felt like summer year round, which was pretty cool, and definitely wouldn't trade it for anything. Obviously missed a lot of time with my family, leaving home at such a young age, so definitely grateful for the past 3 years with them.
So Chase, tell me about where are you from originally? I believe you're from California originally, correct?
Yeah, I'm from the 562, Mirada, California.
What's good?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I started playing roller hockey there at the Brea Hockey Club, and then I started playing ice hockey at for the Norwalk Knights in Norwalk, California. But RIP, that rink is no longer there. They knocked it down a few years ago. So
I love it, man.
Dells, welcome to the podcast, baby. Hey, small percentage of Cali players make it. They don't make it off in the pro hockey. I mean, they don't. I talked to Savvy about this. We had Savvy on. It's tough. I mean, and so I got to ask, what got you into hockey, and which players did you look up to, and which organization as well?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. It was tough. I knew going into it was going to be not easy. My mom always told me, I think it's actually a 1% chance making it professional or in the NHL coming from California. And she said, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I said, "I'm going to be that 1%." And that's pretty much I kind of just put my head down and didn't play baseball, didn't play soccer, didn't play football, didn't do any of that. I just played hockey starting at 4 years old. And then never really looked back. I didn't really have time to do anything else. I know a lot of other guys play other sports and have other hobbies and stuff, but for me, being in California, I mean, it took a lot of time and dedication at the rink, a lot of private lessons, and obviously I was fortunate enough for my parents being able to travel with me and drive me to the rink every single day. Pretty much, I was at the rink, I think, probably for 10 hours every single day, and so yeah, it's definitely weird playing hockey coming from California. I get asked that a lot. Obviously, it's just that stereotype, and but we had to travel. I think every weekend we're on the road somewhere from when I was freaking 6 years old until I guess when I left home at 15 years old. I think we were on in a different state or even in Canada every weekend playing tournaments just to get that competitive level.
It's crazy. For us growing up, we played hockey too, and our lifestyle is kind of similar to yours. You're at the rink on the weekend playing roller, right, or ice.
Yeah.
And after that, you got all your buddies playing mini hockey in the living room as well. That was the thing. We weren't at the beach. We weren't surfing. We weren't doing anything like that.
Yeah.
So is that something that you were doing? And like I said, I mean, was it the Anaheim Ducks that you grew up watching and wanting to, be like, if it were like Korea or Solani or whomever?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a good point. The ball hockey, I think that was the best part about all those tournaments. I think when we were younger, the hallways got pretty banged up. We had to pack many hockey nets and all the suitcases. The parents probably hated us for that. But yeah, definitely. I grew up with season tickets to the Ducks. So I went to a lot of those games. and I love Paul Kariya, Solani, those guys. But honestly, what did it for me was the Colorado Avalanche were in town, and my neighbor at the time, Michael Worth, he's a local kid. He's older than me, and he played hockey, and he invited me over one day to the neighborhood. He also lived in La Mirada, and he had a trash can set up in one of those orange roller balls. And he invited me over to come hang out for the afternoon, and we did that. And I loved it for whatever reason, just kind of stuck with me. And then his dad's actually really good friends with Bob Hartley when he was coach of the Colorado Avalanche. And whenever the Avs would come into town, Bob Hartley would actually stay at his dad's house. So he hooked us up with some tickets, and he invited me to the game when they were in town playing against the Kings. I got to go down to the locker room, and that was the glory days of the Avalanche when they had Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Patrick Waugh. You go down the list, you name it. So after that, I got Colorado Avalanche VHS, the road to the Stanley Cup, and pretty much watched that every single day. Probably, I'm not exaggerating, 5,000 times. And then just kind of just rolled with it.
Which is so cool. You're gonna play them too, at some point this year, and that's the beauty of the journey, right? California is not known as a hockey state like a Minnesota, Chicago, even just like Canada. So and just lately too, Chase, I take a lot of it where that hockey community is so strong, it's so tight. Not to go down a sad path, but you see what happened with Missing Curfew and the boys there with Hayes. I mean, everybody comes together. It really is a brotherhood. Speak upon that. Like, describe that family-like hockey community that you're a part of.
Yeah, that's obviously my condolences go out to them and his family and the Hayes family. And the hockey world is such a special community, like you said. A lot of guys sacrifice so much and leave home and their families at such a young age. And like I said, leaving home at 15 years old, being away from my family, you kind of just depend on the boys that are doing the same thing, and you spend so much time together at the rink and on the road and ups and downs and deaths in their families. And there's just so much of a commitment from each guy that you really do lean on each other. And even now, sometimes you think you're in it alone, and you get anxiety or stress or the pressure. It really is refreshing when you get together with some of the other guys and just hear what they're going through as well, and they're in similar situations. So I think that really does help and go a long way. And especially from California, like you said, it's a tight knit community, and a lot of us started off playing roller hockey. And it's always good to go to Narch in the summers and see all the familiar faces, obviously. And like we were talking about Scotty Savage earlier, one of the other guys that I grew up playing with, LA Hockey Club, LA Selects, and those are friends you keep for the rest of your life. No matter what happens, you're always there for each other, and you're always a shoulder to lean on.
Absolutely. And we'll get into Scotty Savage here later in the episode. But, I got to bring up, though, every hockey player in pro always remembers their first day getting drafted. That's always a big memory, right? And you got drafted by the Winnipeg Jets in 2014. That was big for you, man. So what was it like, the feeling of getting drafted by the Jets, playing up in that organization, but also living in the cold compared to Cali sunshine?
Yeah, that's a good point. It was pretty special being able to play in the Portland Winterhawks organization. At 15 years old, there's guys like Ryan Johansson. You don't need a writer. You go down the list, and it's all NHL superstars that were already all drafted and making their way to the NHL. And you were always hoping or wondering, is that going to be me? Like, when is my turn coming? And obviously, Nick Patan, Brennan Leipzig, the years you start getting closer, the 94s, and then all of a sudden the 95s, and then I got drafted with the late 96s. And then, I show up to the draft. I go to the prospects games. I do all that stuff. I meet a bunch of cool top prospects who I probably wouldn't meet just playing the Western League because they're from all over the leagues, OHL, the Q, college. And then, then next thing you know, I'm sitting at the draft in Philadelphia with my parents and my agent. And all of a sudden, the Winnipeg Jets call my name. And honestly, at the time, we weren't really sure where Winnipeg was located on the map compared to California. And it may sound ridiculous, but it's just honest. And I obviously knew a little bit just because Nick Patan and Eric Comrie were drafted there. And Nick was my teammate in Portland for 4 years. And Eric is obviously my best friend since 2005. He was my goalie the whole way up for the LA Hockey Club, LA Selects. And instantly got texts and phone calls from those guys just welcoming me and telling me how excited they were. And it obviously made me that much more excited knowing that I'm going to be playing with a couple of my best friends. And I know it doesn't happen very often. So, long story short, get to Winnipeg. Obviously, it's a little bit different than California. -30-degree winters, Fahrenheit. My little French bulldog grew up peeing and pooping inside of the condo because he was too cold to go outside. He literally would freeze to death. But it was a special time. I think, like I said, coming from California, the hockey players are kind of on the back burner compared to baseball or football or basketball, where all of a sudden you go to Canada, and especially Winnipeg, that's all they have there. And it's littlest things as going to the grocery store and having people come up to you and take pictures. And I mean, you're kind of laughing because it's never really happened to me before coming from California, where all the other Canadian guys are kind of used to it. And going out for dinner with my families in town, and fans that are at another table offering to pay for our dinner, and just little things like that, where it was pretty cool to see. I think coming from California, how different the I guess just hockey was, and just the background in Canada. And it really was a good learning experience. And obviously getting to play my first NHL game there, that's what every kid dreams about. And it was against the Anaheim Ducks, which made it that much more special for me. And it was pretty cool. And we had a really close group there as well, which made the time go by fast. I think no matter where you are in the world, if you have a good team and a good group of guys, you could be anywhere.
Yeah, I actually was going to jump in. Producer Gets. By the way, we're all wearing black. We're very chill right now. I just want to say that. I had to take off my white sweater off. I had to take the white sweater off.
Yeah, I love it.
But going back before the draft, because you were the King Selects and then the WHL, was there any thought of going to the NCAA? Because you are from the United States. Not a lot of kids, I feel like, take the jump to go to the Q or the W. Did you have any thought of like going to a BU, or were they talking to you? Any offers?
Yeah, 1,000%. It's a good question. I think my whole life it was always college. My parents were very hard on me when it came to school, even though I missed a lot of time, obviously, traveling with hockey. I always had good grades. I was always had to be in the top. If I got a C, I would be freaking crying to show my mom my report card, because I knew she'd kill me probably. And yeah, so my whole life I got a bunch of different scholarships to BC, BU, Colorado College. And actually Eric Comrie and myself, we flew up to Denver together. I think it was a week or two before the Western Hockey League draft, which I didn't even really know what the WHL was at the time, honestly. And we got both offered full scholarships to Denver. We're sitting on the couch, and Wozdecki was the head coach at the time, and he looked at both of us and said, "Hey, if you guys want to play here, I'm offering you both full scholarships. You guys can be best friends and come to school together." And we looked at each other and we were like, "Wow, this is a no-brainer. Like, this is 100% what we're gonna do." And pretty much a week or two later, I got drafted to Portland, 9th round, 192nd overall, because I told them that I was gonna go to college. And then Eric got drafted by Tri-City, which were two massive rivals in the Western Hockey League. And so yeah, I was 100% going to college. And then I flew up to Portland, check out camp. Like I said, I had Ryan Johansson messaging me on Facebook telling me to come up and come sleep in his room and come to all the games, and he wanted to kind of take me under his wing. And I mean, it's pretty hard to say no to that, obviously, when you're 14, 15 years old, and you got that guy messaging you, telling you to come out. And so yeah, next thing you know, I'm in Portland. My parents came up with me. It's an unbelievable town, unbelievable city. And obviously they've bred some serious top NHL prospects and players. So I loved it, and called Eric and I said, "Okay, well, I think that we're going to be rivals rather than teammates." And we kind of both just went our separate ways and ended up playing a lot of games against each other.
I'll tell you what, I got a lot of C's, and I was lucky when I got my C. C's get degrees, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So dude, you played baseball too, right?
I played T-ball. I guess you could say baseball. I played T-ball for the Angels, and my mom faked my birth certificate so I could play up a couple of years. It was just at Granada Middle School, which is my middle school that I went to in La Mirada. And it didn't last long. It was pretty boring. And yeah, like I said, I was at the rink so much. I didn't really have much time to focus and commit to baseball, even though that was probably more likely in California. But yeah, I kind of just put my head down with the whole hockey thing and just rode the wave.
Well, fuck Wikipedia. They made you sound like you were like going to play like professional baseball, and then you chose to play hockey. So talk to them, dude.
Cool. Yeah.
Hey, we're very honest here on the RHL podcast, man.
Me
Dude,
too.
so what? Hey, real quick, what was it like playing in San Diego? Was that just a blast playing down? I love San Diego.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I didn't spend much time down there before, even though I'm from California. I was always just kind of in the Orange County, LA area. And obviously, we played against the San Diego Junior Goals when they had Thatcher Demko and Tyler Moy and a bunch of other guys. But we would just drive down to Escondido on a weekend at usually like 4 a.m. and play a game at 6 a.m. and then come right home. So pretty much I was sleeping, obviously. I did remember the nuclear titties when we would
Yes.
drive by.
Yes.
Nuclear titties.
Oh yeah.
That was one thing I always remembered. And
Right.
but yeah, playing in San Diego and living down there was insane. We had, I think, the Friday night $2 Bud Light nights at the Pechanga Arena sold out. Was like unbelievable. I think everybody was blackout by the second period in the stands, which is pretty cool. But they have a really passionate fan base, and I was shocked and I was surprised, and I loved every second of it. Honestly, we had great teammates. Corey Trop that was down there. He was down there for a while, and he welcomed me in. And obviously, that was kind of new to me going into a new group. And I mean, honestly, I'm not the type of guy that likes to move around. I'm a very loyal guy, and I always thought, as soon as Winnipeg drafted me, I was just going to be a Winnipeg Jet forever. I mean, I didn't get traded in juniors. A lot of other guys get moved around. When I was in Portland, a lot of my buddies got traded, and for me, it just, I don't know. I just didn't even really think about it. I didn't think it was ever going to happen. Just kind of put my head down and did my job, and just try to be a good teammate and be respectful. And like I said, I just thought I was going to be in Winnipeg forever. And then I'm hanging out at my parents' house in the middle of summer on a Saturday, and all of a sudden I'm getting a phone call from the GM of the Winnipeg Jets, and I'm like, well, this is kind of weird. And I answer it, and he said, Chase. And I said, yeah, hey, how's it going? He said, hey, just want to let you know you've been traded. And after he said traded, I kind of just like blacked out. I was like, I started shaking. I think I almost started crying. I didn't really know what to expect. I've never been traded before. I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't know if I did something wrong or what. And then he followed up with the Anaheim Ducks, and then I pretty much started crying, tears of joy.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's every kid's dream playing in their hometown. I had season tickets growing up, and my mom and my dad and sister were in the room, and they saw that I was crying, and they were like, "Oh my God!" I couldn't hang up the phone fast enough to tell them the news that I've been traded home, and I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to leave, and I felt like everything that we worked for and everything that they did for me and letting me leave home at such a young age, it paid off, and it was meant to be, and it was cool. It was weird. I think at first, like I said, it's kind of like going into a new school and meeting new teachers and new teammates, obviously. So, but everybody was super nice to me, and I was a little bit familiar with Ryan Getzloff and Andrew Cogliano because I would skate with them in the summer. And Larry Barron, who is our skills coach, I skated with him when I was 4 years old, and he still yells and screams and blows the whistle the exact same as he did back then. And so yeah, it was definitely unexpected. I mean, I didn't ask to be traded. I didn't really know that it was going to happen. So, but yeah, it was, when I found out it was Anaheim, it made it a little bit easier for sure.
You've
go ahead, Dustin.
Thank you. You like going through like the elite prospects or anything, like you put up points like through like every year in the AHL and with Manitoba and with the AHL, but like you haven't been able to. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
There you go. You're back.
Yeah, there you
go.
You haven't been able to kind of get a true shot at the NHL. How tough is that? And like, especially when you are putting up, 55 points, 40, 32, like it's just very consistent. Like you've proven yourself in the AHL. How hard is just mentally, like, come on, just like, I need a shot to be able to kind of stick in the NHL.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think that's probably the biggest message at the end of the day. I think that people could take from this podcast is that, I mean, you always got to do more. Like it's never enough. And that's something that I'm still learning. And I think some guys get lucky, whether it's timing or opportunity, or I don't know what it is. I mean, the more I try to figure it out, the crazier I drive myself. So, I mean, it definitely could be worse. I mean, people are struggling. People have way worse lives than I do at the end of the day. So I kind of look at it that way, where I'm pretty fortunate to be able to do what I love for a living every single day, especially coming out of California. It's pretty unexpected. So, but it is tough. I mean, all my buddies, I played World Juniors. I think my line mates were Dylan Larkin, Jack Eichel, Alex Tuck, Austin Matthews. And I wasn't expected to make that World Juniors team, but every year during Christmas time, I would sit on the couch with my parents and see all my buddies playing World Juniors. And that was pretty much the coolest time of the year, seeing that happen. And I told my mom, I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes to play World Juniors. I swear to God, I'm literally going to do whatever it takes. And I just put my head down and went to work, and I made it happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm still working. I think last year was my best year yet. I had a point per game, and played with Trevor Zegras and Sam Carrick pretty much for the most of the year. And they're really good players too. So you just gotta keep believing. I mean, if I don't believe in myself, nobody else is. And I said in my year-end meeting last year that, I mean, I'm not content just playing in the American League. And I think that I proved that by leaving San Diego and leaving home and being far away from my family and my buddies and my animals, and pretty like literally traveling cross country to make my dream become a reality. And didn't get the opportunity that I was hoping in Anaheim, even though I did produce in the minors. And I felt like I did everything that they asked me to do. But with that being said, I mean, everything happens for a reason. And New Jersey came along, and this is a new opportunity and a new experience. So I'm ready to go for training camp, and I'm going to prove that I belong, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make that next level and get away from the AHL. Just try to be in the NHL full time and earn a job.
Dels, let me jump in. I'm going to back you fully right now, because anywhere you've gone, you've done your job. I'll say it right here. Out in Portland, you had like what, 2 back-to-back 82-point seasons? I mean, on your stats, you were crushing it. And then you go to San Diego, you do your job, right? Manitoba, you were doing it great too. So it's like, you're going to get your shot. And I think you're right. You got to get that change. You got to have that new chapter, because you deserve it. And Jersey's a perfect place to do it. You got some great talent there now. You got the Hughes brothers that are there. Yeah. You got PK Subban in the back end. There's a lot of opportunity for you, and we believe in you. We know you can do it. But I got to bring up, there is young talent that's going up to Anaheim right now. And you mentioned Trevor Zegras, Jamie Drysdale, all those guys. What was it like playing with Zegras and, just getting to know him?
Yeah, it was awesome. And Drysdale and Zegras are both unbelievable players, and they're going to have great NHL careers, and they're going to help Anaheim a lot. They already helped Anaheim a lot last year in the little stint that they did get. And for whatever reason, day one, Zegras and I just hit it off. We were stall mates, and we were line mates from day one when he was down. And it was fun playing with him. He sees the ice really well, and I just pretty much had to get open, and he knew that I was going to get in the right area just to tap it in, and he was going to find me. So it was fun playing with NHL caliber in the American League. And I think that we proved last year that we both belong up top, and we helped each other, and we fed off of each other. And yeah, he's got great talent, and it's going to be exciting to see what he does this year in Anaheim. I'm looking forward to keeping in touch with him and seeing how he does up there. And I think he's going to take some serious strides this year. And Drysdale as well. He's got a lot of confidence with the puck for how young of a player he really is. And I honestly think that he was one of the better defensemen for the Ducks last year when he was up. And that says a lot for a young kid who's first year pro. That's pretty impressive, because take it from me, going in my first NHL game, I'm shitting my pants on the blue line during the national anthem. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of pressure, a lot of people that are watching you, that have gotten you to that point. And for him to come in and do what he did is seriously impressive. So yeah, they have some serious talent coming up, and it's going to be exciting to see.
You definitely have the right. You definitely have the right attitude, because you always got to wake up every day knowing that there's going to be someone right behind you that's coming after you. And I think that's a beautiful mentality to have going in, especially this next venture out in New Jersey. Going back just through your whole career, what's like your most favorite game you've played in personally that that was like your best game you've ever really played in up until now, and that was your favorite?
Yeah, I think that's you're going to laugh probably, but I think the Pee Wee Quebec tournament in the sold out Coliseum de Pepsi when I was 13 years old. We were playing against Russia in a sold out crowd. And obviously at 13 years old, that was pretty insane. So that sticks with me, and my parents were there, which is pretty cool. And I scored, I was coming down the left side, scored top right on the goalie, and I was pumped. And I think the other one was probably World Juniors in Montreal as well. My parents were at the game, and I got the shootout winner. I went backhand 5-hole, and I did the whole, the USA celly in the glass, which I think is the coolest thing ever. That's always what I wanted to do. And
there you go.
Knowing my parents were there after telling my mom that I was going to do whatever it takes to make that team, even though the odds were against me, I think that was probably the most special thing that I can remember.
I got to bring up one teammate you've had, and he's on San Diego. Jacob Megna. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of the podcast. What was it like playing with Megs and just having him as a teammate and a friend?
Yeah, Megs is a stud. I think he's the best looking captain I've had for sure.
He's gorgeous.
He's a handsome though,
He's a good looking cat. He's a big boy.
You got the Sagan vibes on too, buddy. You look pretty good yourself. Come on, look at those teeth.
Thank you. But yeah, no, Megs is a good leader. From day one, he welcomed me into San Diego, which is, like I said, coming into a new group is not always easy. You got to make new friends, but while still focusing and doing your job. And he was awesome to me. He was a good leader. He would fight for guys. He would stick up for guys. He would go to the coaches if we needed a day off. He had a backbone, which is good because some guys are kind of just going through the motions, and just show up every day to the rink because they have to. But he's a guy that likes to be there and wants to be there. And leaders lead, and the locker room when we're down games, he's the guy that would speak up. And I loved playing with him, and I wish we got to play together for even longer.
He's a great guy. We just had him on. There was the last time we talked to him was a couple of weeks ago, Corey, right? So he's like you. You got the right mentality, and I believe both of you are going to have great years this year. So
yeah, appreciate it.
That is awesome. Corey touched on it before. So going into New Jersey, who do you want to spend some time with, and who do you want to lean on? Veteran presence. Obviously PK is out there, and a few others. Who are you eyeing to spend some time with to learn from?
Yeah, like I said, it's tough. I think you want to come in and be yourself and have your personality, but at the same time, you don't want to look like you're too comfortable. And the game's changed a little bit now to where young guys can kind of come in and be themselves and kind of have more say, to where it's changed in a positive way, I think, because when I first came in, you pretty much just you spoke when you were spoken to, pretty much, and you kind of just shut up. And especially around the veteran guys that have earned to be there, they've earned the right to say what they want and be there. You kind of just watch and learn. And for me, I'm a kind of guy to where I like to have fun. I think I enjoy going to the rink every day. Like I said, I'm blessed and thankful to be able to do this for a living. But if you're not having fun, then I don't think you should be doing it. So I'm always laughing, smiling on the ice. And but for me, I just try to let my work do the talking. My work ethic is, I think, what's gotten me to this level. I think everybody has skill, everybody can shoot, everybody can skate, but the work ethic, just putting in that time, and even away from the rink, nutrition wise, everything, you got to be dialed. It's not an easy league to make. Obviously, I think that you've seen my numbers in the American League, and it still hasn't been good enough. So you got to just keep grinding and keep climbing and just find ways to get there and be ready for that opportunity. I think it's funny. I think we had rookie party in San Diego my first year, in Manitoba when I was with the Jets. Still, I was with Manitoba in San Diego, and we had rookie party in San Diego. And then that next morning, I got called up, and I was playing in that next game. So you really have to be ready. Anytime the opportunity can happen. So I think it's just whoever's ready and whoever's going to show up is going to get it. And I've learned now to always be ready and be focused. And I think, like I said, at this point, guys are very equal, I think. So you got to find whatever you can to get that competitive edge. And for me, it's my off ice training all summer. I don't have a trainer. I don't pay a guy $10,000, whatever it is. I work out on my parents' farm. I have a little setup in my garage, and I just know that gives me confidence, knowing that nobody else is working harder than me in the off season. And I think that I showed that last year with San Diego.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right?
Yeah, exactly. It makes it a lot easier.
Yes, sir.
I love that. We're big McGregor guys here. And I love I forgot what his quote exactly was. He says, you got to be obsessed. You got to be obsessed with your craft and your passion, what you do. And you're showing me that that's what you're all about. And we are too with the podcast and everything else. you've been on a farm because your parents live on one, right? Savvy was telling me about that. So what's that mean to you? And what's it been like having that type of lifestyle with your family?
Yeah, no, it's definitely different. I think I've always kind of had buddies come to my house, and I've always had at least 10 dogs. Like right now we have 48 animals. We have 14 dogs, 20 chickens, goats, pigs, rabbits, miniature donkeys, horses, birds, Bengal cats, hairless cats. Like we pretty much have had everything that you can think of. And I think at the start is because I left home at such a young age. My mom was trying to replace me with animals. And then I would come home and there'd be a new baby goat at home, or a new bunny, or a new pig. And that was always fun to come home to because I was leaving. Where it was cool the last 3 years. My parents have a wholesale plumbing supply company.
Yeah.
It's been in business for 65 years. And my grandma's 87 years old, and she still goes to work every single day. And obviously with COVID, it hit them pretty hard. So they had a lot going on in their mind. They had a lot of stress. So I was fortunate, like I said, I was living at home last couple of years, and was able to kind of help them out more with all the animals. It's a full-time job. If they're not eating, then they're shitting. If they're not drinking water, then they're shitting again, probably. So there's always stuff to clean up. There's stuff to do. And for me, honestly, COVID wasn't that boring. I pretty much always had something to do at my parents' house. I could go out to the barn, or be with the dogs, or help out with the birds. So it was kind of cool to be able to be that helping hand for them if they did want to go for dinner, or if they wanted to go to the casino, or do something they wanted to do, that they didn't have to worry about the animals. And it helped me to have that responsibility. And like I said before, I never really had any other hobbies. It was just always hockey for me. And I think during COVID, it really taught me to just take it one day at a time, and not look too far ahead, because I'm a planner. I like to be able to prepare, and I like to set long-term, mid-term, short-term goals. But during COVID, you didn't even really know what the next day held, like what restrictions they were going to be. So it almost forced me to kind of just take it one day at a time, and not look too far ahead, and kind of just chill out. And it was cool for me. That was kind of my hobby. I would work out in the morning, I would go skate, and then I would come right home, pick up poop, fill up water buckets, feed, and I would just leave my phone inside and just kind of be out the barn with my boots on for a couple hours, and just kind of decompress and get my mind off of everything. Because like I said, a lot of guys, they're talking about it a little bit more, but mental health aspect of the game, and just in professional sports in general, is huge. And I like that guys are feeling more comfortable coming forward in it now, that it's important for guys to have kind of a distraction to go along with our job, because it does carry a lot of weight on our shoulders, and a lot of pressure and stresses, and being away from home, and just everything. There's such high expectations. And obviously fans are pretty ruthless. There's a lot of keyboard warriors that can kind of say what they want, to where, we have feelings too, even though we're athletes, and guys get paid a shit ton of money. But at the end of the day, we're all human. And I don't know, I was taught to just treat people how you want to be treated. And I don't know, I think it was a blessing in disguise that COVID kind of happened while I was at home, to be able to be with my family, and be with all the animals, for sure. So it was a good experience for sure.
Your parents having that wholesale plumbing company, having that blue collar mentality, do you think that was a big reason your hockey career has gone the way it's gone, with that strong mentality and that work ethic?
Yeah, I think honestly, I didn't even realize what they put into it until the last couple of years of me being home. Because when I left home, like I FaceTime them, I text them, but I'm so focused on just kind of worrying about myself and my team of wherever I'm at, that I didn't really ask them much, or realize what was going on at work. But the last few years of being home, my dad gets up at 5 a.m. every day. And like I said, my grandma's 87 years old, and still, she was fighting my mom to get out of the house during COVID to go to work. Like, nobody really even wants to work. And she was, the complete opposite. So just seeing how they run a business was kind of helpful for me. I think is just seeing it from a different perspective of what they expect from their employees, and just the attitudes. And honestly, it only takes one bad egg to ruin an entire company. So just seeing it from that point of view, I think really helped me grow, and become more well-rounded the last few years. It's definitely, I think it's going to help me even just continue to grow, and keep going in the right direction, because it does take a lot of work, and everybody is replaceable at the end of the day. I mean, as screwed up as it sounds, I mean, if you don't perform, there's another guy ready to take your job that's in line, like we talked about before. And same goes with their business. I mean, if somebody's not doing their job, I mean, as bad as it is, as loyal as they are, they got to get the work done, and they got to keep the company going. And like I said, during COVID, I mean, it was hard for everybody, and especially small family businesses. So being able to see them go through that and honestly excel and keep their head above water was pretty cool and pretty special. And I have nothing but respect for them. And I definitely think that it helps me with that blue collar mentality, where I think maybe people just kind of expect that I'm like a California surfer guy that likes good style and nice things. But the last few years really kind of grounded me, and it was nice to see that firsthand.
Yeah, with quarantine and everything, it kind of made things slow down. So everyone had to kind of spend time with their families and think a little about what's important, right? And for us, you brought up mental health. We want to focus on mental health too. Not a lot of podcasts are focusing on it. It's so important. Everyone's dealing with something in the world, and it's important to get healthy and be on point and have your head clear and at peace, especially when you're working like what you're doing, being a pro athlete. It's incredibly important. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think me leaving home, obviously, I mean, I was talking with my buddy Brandon Lemieux. Like I said, I was so ecstatic being home, trying to make my dream come true, playing for the Anaheim Ducks full time. I didn't want to be an up and down guy. Obviously, nobody dreams of playing in the minors. Everybody dreams of playing on the big stage and the big show. And for me, I think it was tough being up and down. And like I said, I played World Juniors with all the superstar guys that are up in the NHL, and pretty much all of my buddies from Portland have been in the NHL since they're 18 years old, making all this money and living their dream, playing on TV every single night. And so it is tough. I think you got to find ways to deal with it, but just keep that hope. You can't lose the hope, and you got to keep the faith, because without that, you really got nothing. And being with my family the last few years really helped me, and just kind of them reminding me, and just seeing, I mean, they see how hard I work in the off season. So just seeing how they believe in me really gives me that confidence as well, and helps me kind of just relax. And like you said, I think it did really slow things down the last little while, and just kind of take a deep breath and just get the focus right.
You have every right to be excited. Every right. You've done everything you've had to do. I really believe that. And you're going to do even more. So New Jersey should be excited to have you with their organization. You have a lot to look forward to.
Lucky to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Lucky to have you.
Lucky to have you.
Dusty, what are you going to say?
Yeah, just smack around those Hughes boys, the little young guys. And that's going to be kind of funny, though, to have those two brothers with you. And they got a good young team, and definitely could have used a nice some leadership, some veterans in there. But it should be a good season for them and for you as well. I guess you said you watched a lot of shows. Just in the meantime, any other hobbies that you have besides, I guess, getting ready for hockey or cleaning up farm shit?
Yeah. Honestly, I like just listening to music. I play a little bit of Warzone with Scotty Savage. He's the GOAT when it comes to Xbox, and he plays Fortnite. He's incredible at it. So I'm kind of just a guy in the background that revives him if he does by chance get killed. And so I play a little bit of Warzone just to make the time go by. But honestly, like being in New Jersey, like I said, I'm not super familiar, where like being at home in California, I have other distractions I can have with my buddies that are non-hockey guys, or the beach, I have a little French bulldog. And for me, he really helped me. I got him when I was in Winnipeg, and I needed a little companion to kind of go for walks with and kind of just relax. And if I had a bad game, like animals just have that unconditional love where he's just so fired up to see you that like you almost forget whatever else is going on. And he's a little thick meatball. But yeah, for me, it's he's honestly been my biggest kind of mental health escape. I think that just having my dog with me, I think it really does help people. And I think music for me too. I love listening to music. I think some days in the summer, like I said, I was training myself. I had no buddies around, no trainer yelling at me to get up, and get in the gym and do my thing. So for me, it was music. I would just blast tunes and try to get fired up that way. And Honestly, like I said, it's a full-time job though, being a pro and getting to that next level as a full-time NHLer. It's 24/7. It's not just while you're at the rink. So for me, it's nutrition. I love cooking. I actually learned to cook when I was in Winnipeg. Nick Patan and myself, we were roommates, and honestly, all we would do after practice, we'd go straight to the grocery store and then see what we can make for dinner, and then have a nice meal, and then watch a movie and hang out on the couch. So I'm fortunate. I'm in a hotel here in New Jersey where I have a little kitchen, and there's a Whole Foods down the street. So I'm actually got a decent setup, so I can't complain, and I'm excited to get going on Wednesday.
Glad to hear Savage is good at something, right? You know, there you go. There you go.
And-
Come on, Savvy. Let's go.
I'm jumping in on this one.
Well,
Don't let
and
the
I got
compliments
hey, before we
get to his head.
before we get to Savvy, I'll give you Savvy. See,
Okay, for sure.
You can rip him up.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
No, seriously, we love Savvy here on the podcast, and hopefully he's ready to go by next year with that surgery and the injury. So he's got like you, great mentality as well.
Yeah.
For me, I love these kind of questions. What kind of like routine do you have? You know, what does your morning look like? What's your regiment when you wake up to the end of the day?
Like off season, let's say, so we have 20 chickens at home. So I'd go out and get 4 fresh eggs, which is kind of cool, from the chicken coop. I would have 4 eggs every single morning. And then I would have a coffee, and then I would get in the gym. I would do a program. I'd honestly probably work out for 2 or 3 hours just in the garage. Take my time, especially during COVID, there was nothing really else going on. So it's weird as a professional athlete in the summer. Like during the season, we're on such a tight schedule, itinerary every single day, pretty much every hour. We're told exactly what to do. And then you go into the off season, and then you kind of are just like on your own. You don't really have a schedule to go by. So for me, working out is kind of, I don't know. It's nice to accomplish something, like that's like my one thing I really have to do during the day. And after I'm done with that, I feel good, get the endorphins going. And other than that, then you go to the rink. It's tough in California. There's not a ton of hockey guys that are professional that are there in the summer. When I was with the Ducks, I would skate with them and train with them all summer long, which was awesome at the Great Park facility. And then this past summer, it was a little tough. I was on my own. I kind of got kicked to the curb, I didn't resign with them. And it was honestly just Eric Comrie, Matt Nieto, JF Berube, and myself. So it was tough finding ice. A lot of the time it was just Eric Comrie and myself at Anaheim Ice, the old Disney Ice, the OG rink. And luckily enough, they helped us out there and giving us ice time, because it is tough to find ice in California and it's expensive. So it is nice that I have Eric Comrie with me, because he is a really good goalie. So and we're both competitive. Like I said, we've been battling since 2005. So it's nice to have each other to kind of compete and get each other ready for camp. And then, I guess after that, like I'd come back from home, pick up poop, go to the barn, make some lunch, maybe take a nap or go to the beach, hang out with the dogs, and then make dinner. And then sleep is huge. I've learned that sleep is everything, honestly. So I'd force myself to go to bed super early and wake up recharged and juiced and ready to go.
I heard that old Anaheim rink, the Disney ice rink, is cold as hell. Like when you're down, it's fucking cold, eh?
Yeah,
Jeez Louise.
Actually, it's got good ice, which is
right.
Eric was we were skating at like freaking 6:30 a.m., which is pretty. I'm not really an early bird, but it was nice. It was perfect ice. Nobody was on it before. It was freezing cold, so that's the best time to skate. I think when there's nobody around and it's just peace and quiet and a fresh sheet. There's nothing better than that.
Murph's not being chill though, locking those doors at the Great Ice Park, so you can't. It's not chill though.
I got no comment.
He can't say too much.
I'm gonna say it for him. Holmes. Fuck you, Murph. Fuck you, dog.
Yo, easy.
Okay, take it back. My bad.
This is why you're the producer. You cannot say something.
I got a little excited.
Keep it chill. It's the Are We Chill podcast.
I know. Well, Chase is a part of it, dog, and I don't like Murph right now.
No,
he's not being chill.
You can see where Dusty's at. We got your back. We got your back.
So obviously, we're pretty loyal here. We're loyal.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned Matt Nieto. Nietzsche's a beauty. I gotta say.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. Honestly, we weren't. He's a little bit older than me. We always played for LA Hockey Club. Sandy Gasso was our coach, but he was always on the older team. So I'd kind of like see him a little bit at the rink if they're practicing after us or games or whatever. But this is like our actually first summer kind of skating together, and it was nice being able to have another guy, you know, that's he pushes himself every single day, and he knows how hard it is to make it in that league, and he's done a great job with the role that he's kind of taken on the teams that he's been on, and he's ran with it. So it says a lot, honestly, about a guy that can do that, and especially like you said, coming from California, there's not many guys that stick in the league that he has. So it was cool actually kind of getting to know him and skating together, and like I said, a lot of the time it was just Eric Comrie and myself, so it was nice having Maddie to pass to and make plays with.
Definitely, he's a good guy, and I was fortunate enough to meet Nietzsche through Savvy, so I'm sure there's a connection with you guys there.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
Let's roll it into the Savvy part now. You know, I gotta ruffle his pigeon feathers at times, man. You gotta loosen him up a bit, you know.
I feel like I'm talking to a life insurance agent sometime, man. What the fuck?
You gotta get him going. But
loosen up there, Savvy.
He's had tough luck. He's had tough luck with injuries.
Dude, yeah, no, seriously.
I've talked to him every day. Yeah, he's doing PT every day now, and I mean, I'm always saying one day at a time. Like, we just hope that he has that comeback, right? And he's able to do what he loves, like what you're doing and whatnot. But he was the first hockey player we had on our podcast, a part of this journey. And you know, he's a close buddy of mine, and I know that you guys have a good relationship too. And so when did you meet him, and what's that relationship been like for you and Saf?
Yeah, I think it was just back in the day with LA Hockey Club days. I mean, we always played roller too. Like I said, he's a huge roller daddy, and I started with OC. I started with OC Blades, just going to Narch, and obviously like the roller tournaments all summer. So I think we kind of just met through there, and then we've just kept in touch. Like I said, the hockey world, especially in California, is so small, and we'd both be back in the summer, so we would skate together whenever we could, and then go to the beach, and then obviously play a lot of roller hockey, and then as of late we playing some Warzone together, which is fun. I think for me, I mean, I always thought video games is kind of a waste of time, but honestly, during the season, especially when there's COVID protocol and stuff, there's really not that much going on. So it is nice to kind of be able to reconnect with old buddies and stay in the loop. And we talk a lot, obviously, like while we're playing the game. So I think it's kind of it's important like that to keep in touch with old friends. I mean, I think I don't have really many school friends from California. I mean, I was always signed out of class early. I think my mom almost got arrested from so many truancies of me missing school, going to all those summer the tournaments, you know, on the weekends and during the week. And so I think it is cool to have California hockey friends that keep in touch and stay together, because like I said, I think not a lot of people get it. I think until you actually go through it, it's not like another sport coming out of California. It's tough to make it. I think going back to all those summers playing in the USA national camps all summer, where you're in dorm rooms with like 4 other guys, and you know, it forces you to make friendships. And I just feel like Scotty's just been one of those guys that we've just always kind of kept in touch, whether it's Snapchat or Instagram or whatever. So he's definitely a friend that I'll probably keep close forever, which is awesome.
Yeah, we love Savvy. We all do. He's a great guy, and we're glad there's a cool connection between you and us now. So kind of winding down, closing up, you know, and first of all, the Guest Brothers got you. So if you ever need us to jump on a red eye to get to New Jersey, we will be there. We'll go to Whole Foods. We'll prep some chicken. Let's get noisy. So anytime, dude, we'd love to come out and watch you play too, because, you know, all the faith in the world, you're going to kill it this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm not hoping. I'm planning on being in Honda Center at November 2nd when the Devils come to town.
Oh, Corey's birthday.
That's my birthday.
Fucking right.
That'd be the best gift.
Yeah, that's my goal. So I mean, I'm going to try to do whatever it takes. Like I said, with the whole World Juniors thing, I mean, I'm going to put my head down and go to work, and they're going to have to drag me out of that facility for sure by my ankles. So hopefully November 2nd I'll see you boys, but if not, we'll have to figure something out this season.
I'm coming for you, Murph. November 2nd, I'm coming for you. All right, sorry, I'm out.
I told you, he's Dusty's pissed.
No Chill podcast.
It's the No Chill podcast. But Dusty's got your back. We all do. But we'll jump on a bird to the rock any day. We'll go to the East Coast to see you play. But for sure, no, you're playing on November 2nd. We'll be there. We'll watch you, and we'll support you all season long. But, you know, on behalf of the boys, can't thank you enough. One last thing for you, or question for you, man. When you're done playing, you know, the career is over, what lasting impression do you want to have? We ask this to all the guests. What's your lasting impression, your last name, you know, for the rest of the time? What's your legacy once you're done?
Well, I got this tattoo. I think a lot of guys kind of just get tattoos just for the heck of it, but this one right here, it says against all odds, and that was it's meaningful for me just because, like I said, my mom always just told me I think it was a 1% chance coming out of California to make it, and going back to U18s, Team USA, where I was with all my buddies and sitting in a massive cafeteria in Rochester, and they announced everybody who made the team for U18s, and all my buddies made the team except for me, and that hurt and that sucked, and I didn't want to have to go through that again, and so I think just the against all odds, and coming from California, and even now still, you know, like we said, I feel like even as a 19-year-old in the American League, I had 19 goals, and I played alongside really good players, and they're all living my dream and living their dream. So I think just that never die mentality. I think that you just got to keep going, keep grinding, keep moving in the right direction. And like I said, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is. So that's probably my biggest thing that I can say. And having that blue collar mentality, even though I am from California and we got the whole beach, and we were always the California surfer guys when we'd go play against the Canadians. But I think that I've proven that I'm not messing around, and it's a full 24/7 job, and I'm ready to take that next step full time.
Well, you certainly have the right mentality, Chase. You are chill as fuck, and you're going to kill it this year. And on behalf of the boys and the Are We Chill podcast, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. It's an awesome first time. My first ever podcast, so I appreciate it. It went really well. It was awesome. You guys are killing it.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon, brother. We'll see you soon.
Okay, boys. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Look forward to it.
Thanks, brother.
See you, boys.